Welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melisa Caprio. Do you believe in magic? What if you were told that all you had to do was get a little creative and work a magic spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Here on Postcards to the Universe, we will share manifesting, tips, postcards, creativity, abundance, and prosperity. Here is your host, Melisa Caprio.
Hello and welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melisa, creating the life you crave. How's everyone doing? Oh my God, what a week, huh? Oh my God. It's been quite a week. So I just want to wish a very blessed Veterans Day to all of you who have or are currently serving our country. Thank you for your service. It is greatly appreciated. So I just wanted to say that. Today I have an amazing person on as my guest, my friend and psychic medium, Elizabeth Lindsay, and I'm going to bring her out here in just a few minutes. Like I said, it's been a crazy week, hasn't it? The energy, the anxiety of the election, everything. And if you were lucky enough to be in Florida like me, well, South Florida anyway, I think Northern Florida is getting it now, you got hit unexpectedly with a tropical storm, which was named Eta. And I am such a believer in the energy of names. So Eta, or ETA, really ETA means estimated time of arrival. So guess what happens with that? It arrives, and boy, did it arrive. We had so much rain. Like, I haven't seen this kind of flooding in a long time, that the whole street in front of the house and the parking lot was completely flooded for days. So we were just grounded. We couldn't leave at all. And I swear, 2020 just does not want us to leave our homes no matter what. It's crazy. Oh my God. But we're all good. Everybody's safe. Everything's fine. That's the most important thing. So I'm very grateful for that. Living down here, we get hurricanes a lot. So when we have a tropical storm, we really don't get very stressed out about it because there's a big difference between a tropical storm and a hurricane, I can tell you. And, but it was so unexpected because usually they talk about it forever if something's coming, but because of the election and that was taking over the whole news, I was like, wait, it's coming when? Tomorrow? So yeah, we weren't really prepared, but it's all good. And you guys know I talk about this, and I've been talking about this the last couple of weeks, that I like to share good things. So if you want to share good things, you can and you're on Facebook, go to my public Facebook group called Postcards of Love and share anything that you want that's uplifting and inspiring or funny or beautiful. There's lots of good things in the world that we can post instead of all the negative things and the fighting. It's where we put our attention and focus that matters. Each week I share a Magic Monday message, and this week's was the affirmation, I am learning to fly. And it's about spreading our wings and soaring. You can find everything that I'm doing on all my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you can like and follow me, that would be greatly appreciated. And you can also go to my website, postcardstotheuniverse.com, and you can see everything that I am doing. And I'm going to mention again my book, Postcards to the Universe. I'm doing a giveaway for my book. It's a way of me giving back and also a way to promote my book. So a little bit about the giveaway. I am giving away $500 cash to one person that I pick at random if I sell 1,000 copies of my book, Postcards to the Universe, Harness the Universe's Power and Manifest Your Dreams. So it's a really good gift, and hopefully that will help with the holidays. A lot of people have been very stressed this year, so you just need to email me a proof of purchase and the date of purchase to my email, postcardstotheuniverse@gmail.com. And for a second prize, I'm choosing 50 people at random to receive my 30-day online manifesting through gratitude, a visual course workbook, which I talked about in last week's show. I really kind of broke down the course. So if you want to find out more about that, you can listen to the archives of last week's show. And as a thank you, if I do not reach the goal of 1,000 purchases, I'm going to be selecting 100 people as at random as a thank you for participating in the giveaway. So there's just a couple of rules. You can't obviously return the book or refund it. And you have to be a United States citizen, and you have to be 18 years old. And it's not sponsored by my publisher, Mango, or Amazon, or Barnes & Noble, where you can purchase the book. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So I would really love it if you guys would do that. That would make me so happy, and you never know who could get a little extra cash for December, right? Okay, so next week, I just want to mention I have storyteller and author Kate Farrell on. She is the founder of the World Weaving Storytelling Project and published numerous educational materials on storytelling. Her book, A Timely How-To Guide on the Art of Storytelling for Adults, called Story Power: Secrets to Creating, Crafting, and Telling Memorable Stories. We're going to be talking about that. She offers virtual workshops for writing groups and libraries, as well as performing virtually as a storyteller. So it's going to be a really fun show. So I hope you can join us. Now, my guest today, I'm super excited about. Many of you who listen to me and know my guest, Elizabeth Lindsay, but many of you are going to be hearing about her for the first time. So she's a psychic medium, spirit artist, goddess counselor, and she is a self-proclaimed spiritual pizza pie. I love that. Elizabeth is a creative soul whose life journey and passion has evolved into helping others empower themselves. Elizabeth has the innate ability to tune in and tap into your spirit guides and energy to offer clear, concise answers and tools that give you a fresh perspective, as well as raise your vibration. Her goal is always to help you get unstuck, move forward, and leave her company feeling confident in the knowing that you are honoring yourself and your soul's growth. And this is just what we need right now. You can find out more about Elizabeth on her website, angelwithanedge.com. That's angel, A-N-G-E-L, withanedge.com. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks so much for being here. How are you?
Hey, Melissa. Thank you so much for inviting me on your new radio show.
Thank you. I'm so excited. And today's a good day, right? 11/11. Yep. We know about those numbers. So, like I said, a lot of people are probably hearing about you for the first time. So why don't you share a little bit about yourself and who you are?
Well, this is always the weirdest part, when you have to talk about yourself, right?
I know. Yes.
It's like, as you know, Melissa, we're friends. I'm looking at this like a cup of coffee on the radio with one of my besties. But, it's just it's strange. It's strange times. And, I don't like labels. I don't like titles. And so I of course have the longest description in the world because I can't commit to one. So,
of course.
So yeah. Let's see. What do you want me to tell you?
That's why I love that you call yourself spiritual pizza pie, because if you have pizza with all the ingredients, right, there's so much that goes into it, because you do so many different things. So, I mean, of course, I want to talk about how we met, but you've had a really intense journey over the last, how long has it been since we've known each other now? 6 years we're going
5
on,
years. Yeah.
5 years,
we're heading into 6 years. So
a lot has changed for you. A lot.
Oh my gosh. When I met you, Melissa, I was a jewelry designer. I had a retail store. I was writing a book. I had a movement called Angel with an Edge, where I said we're all earth angels that are roughly 80% good, 20% rotten. You could pick your own ratio because, there's so much pressure and we're all on the edge of something. And it was in honor of my mom and my 2 aunts that battled breast cancer that I lost. And I was writing a book, and you were writing a book, and I fell in love with your whole movement, Postcards to the Universe. And I made a couple of postcards, and we have become great friends. And in the middle of just getting to know you, I had a big medical crisis, which I call an awakening, and 3 years of fighting for my life. I had a near-death experience, and a whole bunch of stuff ended up opening up, including what I like to call my spiritual strengths. I don't prefer to use the word gifts because I believe we all come in with the gifts. It's just a matter of finding what's your soul path and what works for you, and if you, want to work with them. So everything kind of opened up. I met my guardian angel. I started learning the Lenormand Oracle, which is an oracle from Europe from the 1800s, and I taught it. I know you were one of my best students.
I
now
loved
you're
it.
an amazing reader.
Thank you. I have 2 decks because of you. I have 2 beautiful decks. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
The Lenormand is just such a journey. It's a very deep dive. And then while I was starting to do more and more readings with the Lenormand, I was like, oh my gosh, I think that might be someone's grandma. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. So I went and studied with Tony Stockwell from the Psychic Medium from the UK, and my mediumship just started to open up. So that in a very quick nutshell. And then you and I both had radio shows. I had a radio show for 4 years. And then you came too, and we both had shows. And so it feels really great to be on your new show.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it does. A lot has definitely gone down over the last 5 years, a lot of growing. And your psychic abilities, because Elizabeth's kind of my go-to a lot when I need a question answered, or you've done some amazing detailed readings. So she does detailed readings, just FYI for those of you listening. She'll do a reading for you. And so you've done some readings and have really helped guide me on this journey, And when you made your postcard, your first postcard, it was all about you opening up on what your special, okay, so we don't like the word gifts, your abilities, that your abilities, spiritual strengths that came into fruition. And a lot of what you're doing now was on your first postcard, which I think was about 5 years ago. Now I think I've gotten 1, 2, 3 more from you. Yeah, which I absolutely love. And so it's so cool. And Elizabeth's story is in my book, which you can really, so her postcard, her first one, and you can really, you get into depth about everything that you went through and everything that manifested in the last 5 years. So it's really cool. And there was a bunch of us in a group, and I would say about 5 or 6 of us stayed really close from the original 20. And Elizabeth and I talk quite a lot, actually. We do. We talk
We're
quite a lot.
We're both Geminis. Yeah. Gemini. Yeah.
So,
we're split apart.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Oh, and I'm so honored to be in your book. It's such a beautiful book, and I have to just put in a plug for my dear friend Melisa. If you need a Christmas gift for somebody who has everything, you don't know what to get them, this is the perfect book because it's got little vignettes and little stories of everyone who's made a postcard and why or what they were trying to manifest. And I just love it. So,
thank
it's
you.
a great gift.
Yeah, and all the photographs I've taken, they're mine. So that's also nice.
I forgot to say that. Of course. So gorgeous.
Yeah, so
and
it's
you did
cool.
Such a good job.
Thank
you did such a good job of really thinking it through. What is this person's vision, and then you use your artistic vision, and voila, magic.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So, how have you been feeling with this last week? How have you been? I want to get into
only?
No, well, I know, but I really want to talk about this last week because the energy and all these planets are in retrograde and some are coming out of retrograde. And you know a lot about that, a lot more than I do. And it's just been so crazy. So how have you been dealing with everything?
Well, I always say I had my pandemic whirlpool in a blender trying to keep my toes away from the blades when I had my giant tumor in my health journey. So I'm doing really good. I've kind of been prepared for this, and I am my goal is to help other people to their next step and keep people grounded. Now, is my life perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm doing really good. I've got a great support team of really magical people. You're one of them. And I try and help my clients and people just remind them to come back to themselves and back to the truth, because there's a lot of fear energy out there right now. And, it's purposeful because it keeps us disconnected from each other, and that's where our power is, and our inner selves, right? So it has been a crazy week. It's been a crazy year. We're all being stretched. We're all being stretched to show up as our most authentic, real selves. And it's like giving birth. It's everything kind of has to fall apart and be messy before it becomes together again. So I'm a little bit of an optimist, Melissa, as you already know, right? I don't tend to go to the dark side. But
thank God.
I believe, right? But with Scorpio right now, we've got a lot of things coming to the surface, and they have to, because if we can't see the greed or the racism and on, how can we possibly, if we're not willing to admit it's there, how can we even begin to see it versus begin to heal it?
Perfect. Okay, stop right there. Love it. Because we're going to take our first break, and then I want to talk about something that you really care about, grounding, and how that can help us. Stay tuned.
Perfect.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Hi, I'm Melisa Caprio from Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave. Do you believe in magic? What if I told you all you had to do was get a little creative and work a dream spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Well, guess what? I've got the spell for you. Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation, is a casting magical tool for you to use whenever you want. How does living in passion sound to you? Join me in my movement where you get to create in the magical playground. Let's think outside the box and do some playful conjuring. By casting out our desires with a manifesting postcard, we explore our hearts and allow the alchemy of our dreams to appear. And don't forget to tune in each week here on OMTimes Radio with my show, Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I share tips on creativity, abundance, and prosperity, and you will be introduced to the coolest guests, trailblazers, mystics, and creatives who enrich our lives.
These are the sounds of a dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Welcome back. Okay, so I have a really cool guest, Elizabeth Lindsay, on today. And we're talking about, a lot of the heavy energies and a lot of the energies that are going on right now on the planet. 2020 has been a really intense year. And Elizabeth has said this to me a million times, something that's very helpful, and that you said, Elizabeth, has changed your life, and it's grounding or earthing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have my own little system. I mean, you can read a lot about grounding and earthing, but I had, I just go outside every day. It's so simple. I go outside every single day, rain, snow, shine. I mean, my neighbors must think I'm crazy when there's a blizzard, but I go out there and I put my feet to the earth, like little suction cups. And I just say, thank you, Mother Earth, for allowing me to release that which no longer serves me. And I've been doing that for 15 minutes a day, every day, with very few exceptions, for 6 years. But within 3 months of doing that, I had moved residents to a better place, and all of these amazing things had happened. And what happens is when you reconnect to Gaia, Goddess Earth, right? You are remembering who you are. Your soul is resonating back to remembering your connection to being an earthling. Because we're spiritual beings in a flesh suit, right? We're here to experience the physical. And she's our big mama. So when you connect to her, she naturally releases things out of you, belief systems, other people's energy, whatever. She can take the energy and transmute it and creates a space. And Earth school does not like a void. Everything's a paradox. We have to have sun with rain. It will fill that void with more of your inner knowing, your intuition, your higher self, and your connection to Gaia. And it shuts down the ticker tape parade in your head of I can't, the ego, and it brings in more of your soul speaking to you, essentially. Yeah, wow. It's life-changing.
Yeah, and she's been telling me to do this, and I've been resistant. And the only reason I've been resistant is because of where I live. Because it is so hot and humid here on probably 9.5 months of the year. And we have lots of bugs crawling in the grass, and it's sticky. And so it's not very comfortable. But I was looking up grounding before the show. And so it tells you about what earthing is, and there's actual science around it now. They're actually being able to study it, which is super cool, about the physics and how the electrical charges from the earth can have positive effects on your body, right? So as I'm doing my search, I come across this website. It's called grounded.com, and they sell grounding mats for people who live.
There's a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know this. I was like, how cool. So what you do is, if you live, this is really good for people who say live in big cities, and they live in concrete, jungle, and they can't go outside and touch the earth or whatever. So you plug in a grounding wire into the grounding cord of your outlet. So you have to have the 3-prong cord, and you put a grounding rod in the little circle. And because it's not plugged in, and it grounds you to the earth, and you can just put your feet on the mat, or you can lay on the mat. And I was like, oh, why didn't I know about this? This is so cool, because this would solve the issue for me, right? To be able to ground. I mean, I'm sure it's not the same as outside, but for those of us that either don't want to be outside because of the weather or can't because they live in high rises in the concrete jungle, it's a really good alternative.
Oh, I have clients who go out to the park and stand by a tree and say, oh my gosh, that changed my life.
Wow.
So for me, I'm the kind of person, Melissa, you know this because you know how pushy I am. If somebody says, oh, I don't have time to meditate for 10 minutes a day, you know what I tell them?
Meditate for 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
I know.
Yeah. So, if I can go out in a blizzard, but, also, really, hurricanes and tropical storms aside. But, you have a beautiful ocean you can go put your toes in that I'm so jealous of because I am in Colorado, which is gorgeous, but we have no ocean. Yeah.
Yes. So. Yes, I could, but I don't.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you're right. But I swear to you, I would love to have that kind of weather where it's cooler, where you could sit by a tree and you could breathe that crisp, fresh air. So if I lived somewhere else, I would probably ground on a regular basis.
Sounds like
but you do it.
Move could be in the future.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, it will be. Exactly. You do it, though. And what do you do when you're in a blizzard, though? You wear shoes. You have to, or you'll get frostbite on your feet.
You don't have to be barefoot.
Oh,
nothing is better than sinking your feet in the grass, in the summertime. Yeah. No, you absolutely don't need to be barefoot. If you can do a leather sole, that's really good. Right. But as long as you're doing it is the point.
Right, as long as you're doing it. And you're really connecting. You're getting into your internal space and connecting to the earth. So you're allowing yourself to feel it. Right. It's not it's not the same as it's not the same as going outside and walking and talking on your phone to, catching up on stuff. Yeah. You want to be in that. Right. Okay. Right. I gotcha. Cool.
You want to imagine suction cups we have chakras in the soles of our feet. You want to imagine little suction cups, like little tentacles going, rooting into Gaia.
Got it. And it's been, so it was really interesting. So for those of you listening and who are interested, there's a lot of data on it. If you just Google it and see what the benefits of your body and how good it is. And I know you said that helped you because even when you were recovering from your tumor, when you would go outside to ground, which is crazy. Yeah. So that's awesome.
But you know here's the proof is in the pudding, right? This is what I've been saying a lot. This has been the expression of the week. The proof is in the pudding.
It's funny that you said that. We have been saying that for weeks around my family's house. The proof is in the pudding. It's funny. Go ahead.
Well, so what happened is if I would miss a day or two, I would start noticing I wasn't sleeping as right. I had more anxiety. There was that little voice in my head going, I couldn't. And then I'd get back to the earth and it would go away. And, it's kind of like when you quit gluten and then you eat a big old pizza and go, oh, that'll be fine. And you're like, whoa,
right.
That wasn't a good idea. So the more you do it, the more you build it. Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't a good idea.
This is how we really talk, people.
It's true. This is exactly how we talk. All right. So what you do, okay, so you're considered a psychic medium. I know a lot of people know what that is, but share a little bit about what the experience is for you, and then you're starting on this new stuff that I want to talk about too, spirit artist. So let's start with psychic medium, and then we'll go to spirit artist.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say I've been creative my entire life. I owned my own artist-owned business. I sold my jewelry nationally. I had my work on The Bachelor,
That's
and Grey's
great.
Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time it was really important to me. I thought I was hot stuff, right? Now it's not as important, right? But anyway, at that time it was. That was part of my journey. So I ended up getting through my health crisis, and I started doing Lenormand, and all of a sudden I had people that crossed over come through, and I didn't plan any of this, Melissa. I was the most, non-woo-woo person you could be. So everything kind of evolved for me. I went and I studied with my mentor, Tony Stockwell. He's a psychic medium in the UK. And things just started to open up for me more and more and more. I did my very first public platform demonstration right around this time last year at the Athelia Center in Colorado. And then, COVID came, and I had several plans So I just did my first online demo platform and a few weeks ago, and that went well. But I'm being stretched too. I plan to go to the UK and go to the real Harry Potter school.
I know, going to Hogwarts. And she would send me pictures. This is the real Hogwarts. Yeah, I know.
So, and I've been doing 2 different mentorships, year-long mentorships with Tony Stockwell, and I really wanted to. I didn't think this year was going to go the way it went for me, but I'll tell you, I've been doing my spiritual strengths. I've been working with my clients, and things are just opening up exponentially because I've been doing a trance program, and that's the foundation for everything. But what I didn't see coming, because as you know, I did a cosmic strip, right, called Angel with an Edge, and I was having fun with that. But what I didn't see coming was that I started bringing through people through pencil. And I had met a spirit artist, and I was so intrigued by them, and I never even imagined it for myself. And this is so new. But, like last week, I had to do something in 10 minutes, and a gentleman came through, and I knew he had a hat. I knew he had a feather in his hat, and I knew that, he made his own money and all this stuff. And I think I'm making it up. And then the person I read for provided like 6 photographs of what I had been drawing and showed me. And I'd never met her before in my life. So it's pretty incredible. Yeah. It's so new, I almost don't want to talk about it. But since you asked and you're my friend, I will. But it's really new and it's exciting. So my point is, I don't know. I feel like everything is changing on the planet. This is such new energy coming in. And, I know we feel a lot of things falling apart, and we feel a lot of things, no certainty and things like this. But I know I've seen so much. I know so much now in my soul, in my heart, in my connection to Source, that there is, a construction crew of light warriors that are right here, and we are building ourselves up in a new way. And it's just that teeny tiny ray, a promise of that light at that sunrise. That's right where we're at. And I know things are going to get better. I know they are. It's going to take a while, but we're growing,
said that to
stretching.
Yeah, you have said that to me. It's going to take a little time, so to be patient. When I'm like, call you, what's going on? And you're like, be patient. It's coming. Right.
Yeah. And I would like to say, this has been such a deep dive year for me. I didn't see it coming. I was a psychic advisor online for years. I had my radio show for 4 years. But this year has been a blessing for me because aside from helping other people, I have been working on how I can get better at helping the planet and myself and my clients. And that has been a gift. I'll look back at this and be so grateful for this year at the end of it. I mean, like everybody else, everybody's like, what? Bring on 2021. But one last thing I'd like to say, Melissa, is my angelwithanedge.com website is really a work in progress. And I am transitioning from that artist into my spiritual pizza pie. So if you go there, it's a little, it needs work. I know it. I'm going to launch a new site in the new year. Yeah. So,
But that's the best way for people to reach out to you, right? That's the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to connect with you and get a reading with you, really. So you could go to her site just to reach out to her. Yeah, that's great. I'm like you in a lot of ways. This year has been a challenge and I had a lot of things I was planning on doing, especially based around the book. But truthfully, it has been a big year of growth for me. Also, I've let go of a lot of stuff. My art, my photography has changed a lot over this last 8 months since lockdown or COVID started. So I am going to look back to and be grateful in a lot of ways also for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way because there's so much that we had to be stripped away for us to come and go, how much time do we have and what do we really want to do with this life?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are suffering, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to do the show, and I talked to you about it, to continue doing the show, is because I want to put as much positivity as I possibly can, and have people like you on who are doing these kind of things to help people look at the good things that are happening in the world, so we could focus all of our energy there, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I don't think my old show was on as long as yours, but it was over 3 years, and so it was feeling a little stagnant, and what am I going to do? And I took some time off and then came back here, which I'm so grateful I did. New platform, new audience to keep inspiring, because that's my way of inspiring. I'm an artist also. We're both artists, right? That's where we come from. Yeah, right. And we want to share our gifts, right? We want to share our gifts and our abilities and all that with the world. So,
and what we manifest.
And what we manifest.
1111 is a master number of supernatural intuition and rapid manifestation. If you think of it as the 11, it's the two pillars. It's a gateway. It's a doorway to go in and physically be inspired and manifest. So it's a powerful day. And I have really good news.
Okay. Hold your news. I do, because we're right at the 20-minute to 2 mark. So we're going to take our break. All right. We'll be right back and listen to the good news.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi, I'm Melisa Caprio from Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave. Do you believe in magic? What if I told you all you had to do was get a little creative and work a dream spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Well, guess what? I've got the spell for you. Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation, is a casting magical tool for you to use whenever you want. How does living in passion sound to you? Join me in my movement where you get to create in the magical playground. Let's think outside the box and do some playful conjuring. By casting out our desires with a manifesting postcard, we explore our hearts and allow the alchemy of our dreams to appear. And don't forget to tune in each week here on OMTimes Radio with my show, Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I share tips on creativity, abundance, and prosperity, and you will be introduced to the coolest guests, trailblazers, mystics, and creatives who enrich our lives.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter, yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back with me and my guest, Elizabeth Lindsay. Okay, so you had said you had some good news. We're talking about the powerful energy and manifesting energy of 1111, and that's part of the reason that when Elizabeth and I were talking, and I said, I really want you to be on my no show. What date do you want? What date do you want in November? She's like, 1111. I said, okay, that's perfect. So it's good. I'm happy that you're here today. 11, yeah. Okay, so let's hear the good news. I'm always up for good news.
Oh, I've got lots of good news. You know, not everything is rainbows and unicorns. That's the joke between me and my sister. But, you know, we always want everything. When is everything going to end? When are we going to get here? When is it going to be done? It's like, you're never going to get there. It's just going to evolve to something else. That's what our experience on Earth is. So the first thing I want to say is that on Friday the 13th, we've got Mars going direct. And Mars not only is our planet of war, right? It's also our planet of action. It's our gumption. It's the fire in our bellies. It's, you know, what makes us feel passionate about our projects and gives us that wind under our wings, right? So that's a really good thing because we're going to get a lot of our gumption back and our ideas and our initiation and feeling like we've got some new stuff coming in. Then directly after that, on Saturday, we've got a new moon in Scorpio. And that Scorpio brings up things from the underneath, right? But this is what I'm talking about. It can be kind of emotional. It can be, people can be crabby. I know that's shocking, but yeah. So, you know, but the good news is it's a new moon. It's a great time to have a vision. Each and every person to hold a vision and make a postcard for Postcards to the Universe. And it's a perfect time. It's just like a little mini vision board, right? It's a perfect time to initiate something new. And then we have, you know, we're leaving the dark ages of Pisces and entering Aquarius. And this is innovation and thinking out of the box and new ideas and Nikola Tesla. It's a totally different energy. So there's so many new things that are going to come in. And another good thing that's happening is that Saturn is leaving Capricorn. If you think of Capricorn as that goat on the straight cliff, hanging out there with everything he's got, right? That tenacity. And it's like a scalpel. Saturn's like a scalpel. So it made everything very serious and sturdy and certain. But, you know, it's leaving and it's moving into Aquarius. That expansion, that innovation. So we do have, and then also the third week right around my birthday, December 19th, the 2-year eclipse cycle is ending. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm not an astrologist, but it is basically wrapping up a 2-year cycle. And I, for one, you know, all our planets will be direct except one. So it will I'm hoping for a very happy, somewhat heartfelt, promising with a vision for the new year and the holidays.
Me too. And I think that I'm looking forward to, and I'm envisioning a happy transition into January, right? We got a lot of energy. You and I were talking about a lot of what we're seeing, and a lot of aggression that we're seeing is the old paradigms trying to hold on. And there's a new divine...
you're talking about the patriarchy.
Yeah, the patriarchy. And there's a new divine feminine energy that is pushing through. I mean, we did just elect the first female right? VP.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
that's huge, right?
Oh,
so,
it's all over. I mean, there's lots of Congress women now. That's a whole new thing. You know, that when Notre Dame, when the giant phallic chapel fell from fire, that was kind of the metaphor for the beginning of the rising of the divine feminine.
Right.
And it's not about male bashing. It's about the patriarchal society. And it's about the duality of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in duality, in balance.
Right, because for so long we've been in a system of, you know, seeking material possessions and competition and physical and brute force and action and, you know, logical and all that kind of stuff. And that's just masculine energy, and it doesn't have anything to do with men or women. So I'm glad you said that. It's not about being male or female. And the feminine energy is about cooperation, right? Is about receiving, is about nurturing.
Yes,
So
I would definitely say, you know, the one is the masculine, which looks like, you know, the rocket, and 2 looks like the vessel and the cup to receive, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's 2020. It's a magnified number of the divine feminine. It's the foundation, because 20202 and 0 is the God number, so it's the higher number, and then it equals a 4, which is the foundation. Think of a square, and that is the foundation of the divine feminine arising. It will not be denied.
Interesting. Because what we said in the beginning of the show, we touched on a lot of, there's a lot of like falling apart. Old things are like falling apart and crumbling. And you were saying that we need to see everything if we're going to deal and heal it, right? We have to see it. We have to see all the muck. So everything is, the divine feminine is bringing it to the surface so we can heal it and we can move on and we can create and shift.
And, you know, Gaia is my guru. I mean,
I know.
She is the divine feminine, with the rock we live on of life. So she has her own karma, too. Yeah.
Yes, and she has her own karma, and America has its own karma, right? So there's a lot of that going on.
I'm so glad you said that, because, you know, when I had my darkest times with my health crisis, I had my Pluto return. And that is exactly what America's astrology is going through right now, her Pluto return. And it is great, definitive disruption that brings transformation and birth.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you explained what the Pluto return means. And we all have it, right? In our chart somewhere that the Pluto is going to return, and it's going to cause a lot of transformation in our life.
Yeah,
so
Pluto's the transforming. It's like you're going to do this. You know, I want to say one really quick. You know, you think of the analogy of the little birdie and the egg, right? And he's got a hatch, right? The egg's got a hatch. But you can't help that bird hatch. It's got to break its foot out. If you help it, it will die. Once he breaks out of that egg and bursts himself with his tiny little wings, he can never go back again. It's not possible. And that's basically what's happening. We are just breaking free of that little shell.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's a good analogy. It's the same, the caterpillar with the butterfly, right? You see the caterpillar and you see the butterfly trying to come out. And, you know, as we always want to go in and be like, oh, let me help. And that's the worst thing you can do, because they need to build their strength. And the only way to do it is to go through that. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy when you're actually going through it. And that's where we get all wrapped up. So that's why I wanted to talk about the grounding with you, because that's a good way to help us stay connected while we're going through the birthing.
And I always say, you know, the universe is conspiring for us. not against us. So if we're being asked to change or something's put across our path, it's there for our acknowledgement. It's there for us to recognize. The universe speaks to us in you, every single person, every listener out there, in its own way. So it's up to you to recognize the signs, be it numbers, song lyrics, license plates. That's how it started for me, and that was over 10 years ago. But, basically I just reconnected to who I was at 5 years old that shut down because of trauma. We all came into this planet with this inner knowledge. It's up to you to unwrap your own presence and get help finding out how.
Right.
That's where your power is. That's where every human's power is, their soul in their heart.
And we forget, right? We forget how to do that. So it's good to listen to conversations like this, or reaching out to somebody for help or guidance is always a good way because.
Yeah. Or get your feet on the earth and shut up and listen to yourself, to your heart, to your soul. It has things to tell you, and if you're on your phone, and if you're drinking coffee, and you're driving, and you're blah, 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 you're not connecting. It's very little, and the more you connect, the bigger it gets.
Yeah, that's so true, because we have a habit, humans have a habit of always, when there's a problem or there's an issue or we're not happy, we're always looking outside there. Like, what is happening out there that is making me feel like this in here, right? And that's really not what's going on. If we can connect inside, it really doesn't matter what's going on out there, right?
Yeah.
And we forget. We forget how to do that.
Yeah. When you come to the awareness and take the accountability that you are responsible for every single thing that happens in your life, how you choose to see it. Because the one superhuman power we have, superhero power we have as human beings, is our ability to choose. And when we take accountability and say, I'm responsible for figuring out what my next best step is, what's best for me, every person is a mirror showing us something. When you get triggered, it's just a symbol to say, hey, learn something about yourself right now. And that's where our power is. That's what we're all learning to do. And it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process. Exactly. And that's what, when I have people creating a postcard, it's what you're doing is we're working on manifesting, being a conscious co-creator with the universe. Like, what is it that you want to come into your life? So you're just tapping into that energy. It's bigger than the physicality of the postcard, which is great. And of course, I love getting them. But it's about the energy that you're putting out and creating and what you're bringing back into your life.
Yeah, and the emotion. I mean, when you make when you write that screenplay or you make that postcard, you want to be in the energy of baby kittens and fluffy doggy puppies and your first kiss that was the best kiss ever. You want to be in that love space where you're creating through your emotion of having, not wanting. Because when you're in the having, how is that going to make me feel? Then you can only create right now. You can't create 2 weeks from now in 2 weeks. What you're thinking, what you're feeding yourself is what you're creating. And that's why earthing and being still and listening every so often is really, really essential.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Effort is energy. Effort is energy.
Wow. Well, we only have a couple minutes, and then can you believe it already, the whole hour? We only have a couple minutes. I know. So is there anything that you want to leave anybody with? Anything like that you want, like a little tidbit or for the end of the year, anything? I
just want people to know that I some of the things that I've seen in the past year have been so beautiful and so miraculous, and I would have never imagined I would have witnessed some of these things, right? And I want people to know that I have a connection to the other side, and my ancestors are so important. And there is great hope. And the one thing we have is our ability to rise above and be kind and compassionate, especially with ourselves. And, you know, if the least selfish thing you can do is make yourself happy. If that means eat a bowl of ice cream, hug a dog, go ground, whatever it is, the happier and more loving and giving you can be, the higher the vibration for the entire planet. And yeah, it's really true. I mean, we're just like these little tiny champagne bubbles, and we're all interacting like the stars in the sky. And the more we can, you know, puff it up, like, what was that? Chocolate, Willie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, you just keep going up, 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 up. You know, that's what you're doing for the whole wide world. So that's
I
what
love
I would
that.
say.
Thank you, Elizabeth, so much for being here with me today. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Oh, God. Thank you, guys. And remember to participate in the cash giveaway. So thanks for listening to Postcards to the Universe with Melisa, creating the life you crave. And I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful week. And remember to be thankful for your life. Peace.